The higher self and the ego, a functional divide understanding the split between soul functions and survival functions. Introduction. Every human psyche carries within it a dual force, the higher self, a guiding inner voice that orients us towards soul alignment, and the ego, a protective structure that seeks control, approval, and stability. These two systems are not enemies, but they do compete for dominance. When the higher self leads, life feels like a quest, a spiral of becoming, a deepening of purpose. When the ego takes over, life feels like a treadmill, repetitive, pressured, and externally defined. We can understand this divide through the cognitive function model. Higher self functions: Ni, Na, Phi, T symbolic, reflective, internal. Ego functions: Si, Se, Fe, Te reactive, external, adaptive. Let us explore the deeper purpose of each and how integration can shift your entire sense of being. The functions of the higher self. The higher self functions are inner-guided. They aren't motivated by status, reward, or conformity. They speak softly, but with profound resonance. These are the functions of awakening, ethics, vision, and clarity. Ni, the mystic compass, tracks patterns across lifetimes, not just timelines. Seeks meaning behind surface events. Lives in symbolic resonance, dreams, archetypes, omens. When Ni leads, life becomes a mythic journey. Na, the evolutionary trickster, connects dots across space and domain. Finds magic in chaos and humor in paradox. Opens endless portals of possibility, reframing reality itself. When Na leads, life becomes a playground of emergence. Phi, the sacred flame, holds emotional truth without performance. Stands for authenticity over agreement. Hears the whispers of the soul, especially in silence. When Phi leads, life becomes an act of inner devotion. T, the philosopher's blade, seeks clean logic and elegant internal structure. Cuts through distortion to get to the essential. Thinks independently of culture, emotion, or reward. When T leads, life becomes a search for integrity. Together, these functions form the core of your intuitive sovereignty. They don't tell you how to behave, they tell you who you are becoming. The functions of the ego. The ego functions are the guardians of the known. They are tools of adaptation, survival, and protection. Useful, necessary, but dangerous if they become the source of identity. They operate by repetition, social mimicry, and fear-based prioritization. C, the archivist of familiarity, recalls what has worked in the past, sometimes at all costs. Avoids novelty in favor of consistency and safety. Finds comfort in routines, nostalgia, and known outcomes. When C dominates, growth becomes threatening. Say, the sensorial reactor, fixated on now, stimulation, risk, immediate impact. Escapes pain by staying in constant motion or pleasure. Hyper-focused on appearances, performance, and dominance. When Say dominates, depth is drowned in distraction. Fei, the mirror mask, seeks emotional validation through group harmony. Overfunctions to keep peace, even at the cost of truth. Adapts to others' feelings and expectations. When Fei dominates, authenticity is bartered for approval. Te, the executive enforcer, obsessed with results, structure, and control. Measures worth in productivity, leadership, and compliance. Prioritizes efficiency over humanity. When Te dominates, purpose is sacrificed for outcome. These functions are the shell. When they serve the higher self, they protect the path. But when they replace it, we become hollow achievers, exhausted caretakers, or obedient shadows of ourselves. When the ego leads over humanity, Ni becomes prophetic dread, doom spirals, overthinking fate. Na becomes chaos, anxious novelty chasing without anchor. Phi becomes isolation, misunderstood martyrdom. T becomes apathy, withdrawn judgment without compassion. At the same time, Si becomes compulsive nostalgia. Se becomes addiction to thrill. Fei becomes manipulative niceness. Te becomes soulless domination. Healing the divide. The ego is not evil, but it was never meant to be in charge. The path of individuation, wholeness, and soul alignment begins when we ask, what would happen if I let my inner truth guide my outer actions? What if strategy, Te, served vision, and I? What if tradition, Si, supported innovation, Na? What if harmony, Fei, expressed integrity, Phi? What if instinct, Se, was used to act on what Ti discerns? That is the alchemy of the whole self, not destroying the ego, but redeeming it. Summary: we each carry a sacred polarity. One self wants meaning. One self wants certainty. The higher self moves slowly, deeply, symbolically, but it leads to freedom, compassion, and soul clarity. The ego moves quickly, reactively, and socially, but it leads to conformity, stress, and collapse if it rules unchecked. Let the ego manage the castle, but let the soul write the story. The higher self doesn't scream. It just keeps whispering until you finally remember, you are not here to survive the world. You are here to transform it from the inside out.